came back from Muji's satsang in Rishikesh, and it was really, really powerful for me. And like since I come back, I really can feel a paradox, like deep awareness of everything, yet at the same time, some strong reaction can came, and even stronger than before. And what I want to say about it from my family is that I can see now that my tendencies to keep away from them was more something like sorry, I have difficulty to speak in English a little bit. But
Yeah.
Some like always feel judged by them, and it's true that they judge me in a way, but in another way, I can see the beauty in them now. That's why I speak to you about paradox. Like I feel more and more the both that are there.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I can really love them, but at the same time hate them.
Yeah, this is what happens when waking up, is that it takes off all the plasters, and it lets out these raw feelings. And the best thing that you can do is just explore what's happening. So you can listen to non-duality and hear that you're not that, but then also explore what's happening in those feelings. So those more negative, so when it comes up really strongly, the hatred towards them, then you can explore your judgments towards them. Sometimes what we do when we get into this subject is we keep trying to repeat the I am or the awareness, so not to let this stuff out, but every so often it's like you're shaking a champagne bottle. You need to take the top off and let it out. So just be honest with yourself about judgments that you have in your body about them, because you'll find there's judgments. Now you can't change their judgments towards you. That's the way those instruments are. And maybe they'll change, maybe they won't. But at the moment, that's more than likely the way they are and the way they've been for many years. And it's not your job to change them. It's nobody's job to change anyone else's. But to look at what happens there, it doesn't mean that you keep interacting with them, because if you've got a negative interaction, then more than likely, as you wake up more and more, you'll move away from that. It's what happens to a lot of people. A lot of people try to take their family and their loved ones with them, and they try to do it, they think out of love and compassion, but it's often out of fear of being alone. Because it is very difficult to interact with people that are very identified, but at the same time, you mustn't use that as an arrogance to escape your judgments when your judgments come up against them. Like, you've got to be honest with yourself, because I'm sure there will be judgments about people that are identified or their way of thinking, and just be really honest and open. Your job is just to be always as you are. And when that is just this vast freedom, then it's that vast freedom. But when it's contracted and tight and feeling lots of judgment, then you don't have to act it out, but you have to be honest to yourself that it's there. When we feel these contractions, often we keep trying to repeat to ourselves that we're freedom. We're freedom, we're freedom, we're freedom, to try to ignore it rather than to really embrace the ugliness of what we are being in that moment. Like, it's got to, you won't be able to run away from your shadow. It's like the shadow energy needs to come out to an extent. It doesn't mean be in it all the time. It's just being honest with it when it comes. And when waking up, because you stopped living in this strict story of who you are, and so you've not got this fixed mindset of who you are, then it means like you go through this process of the body releasing all these old conditioned ways of being. It's gone on for generations.
Sorry?
It's gone on for generations. Like, you're an effect of many generations.
Yeah.
You're not something that's just appeared in this lifetime. Your cells, your DNA has come from many generations. Your way of thinking doesn't belong exclusively to you. It's a society's way of thinking and your family's way of thinking.
But most of the time, I don't feel a lot of similar or like they're always criticizing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But in a way, I'm more and more fine with it because myself, I'm in peace with what arises from me, and I feel it when it came from my heart. So I respect it, and now that I respect it, even if people judge me, it's not like that heavy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, okay, if we can't be really together, like what I mean by it, it's like when we speak right now, I can sense you, I can, that's what I mean by together. So if we can be together, why keeping interacting, because I quit my family when I was quite young, and I just cut every link with them, don't call and everything. But something in me felt that it's just a reaction, that at that moment, it's like 6-7 years ago, at that moment it was right, I needed that. But now I feel like I have to come back into, regular world, or I don't know how to call it, but, really normal people and just be compassionate with them, but stay myself, like not reducing how I see things and all of that. I feel that it's very, very important for me right now to be able to finally, it's just to always like it makes me think about, sometimes I hear that like the sage can go to hell and come back without any problem. And I feel it's like going into the mind, into this regular world, and going to that faith, that word without problem. Always resting as awareness, even if in front there's a lot of contraction and all of this.
Yeah, to an extent. But if the sage had the ability to, if the door opened and the sage was sitting in hell, and the door opened out of hell, I'm sure the sage would get up and walk out of hell. So to an extent. But I just get a sense when you're speaking, and this isn't true for everyone, but just when you were speaking about that, I just wouldn't worry about all this intellectual stuff about doing it or not doing it, and just follow as much as you can what your body feels like doing. And so sometimes it might feel like being around your parents, and sometimes it might not. And just try to be as honest as you can and go as deep into your feelings as you can moment to moment, and try not to make too many rules about it, or too many it's got to be this way, but come back to what you're actually feeling in the current moment, and just notice it. And if you're feeling deep contraction in the body saying, no, I don't want to be around them, then that's okay to not be around them, but just notice it. And then if your heart is more open to them, go into it like that. Like rather than making a rule, just come back to more what's being felt. Because when you were speaking, I just felt like you were trying to make some sort of rule to make yourself more comfortable with the situation. And really there are no rules. We've got to come back to just presence, and then the body kind of responds. When we're waking up though, we kind of form these rules to stop us running away from pain all the time. Because normally we're in this conditioning of constantly running away from pain and trying to get to pleasure. So we kind of form these rules to explore pain to an extent, and to explore what's going on in the body, my mechanism. But then after a period, we have to come back to to just the body doing what it wants to do in every given moment, and just trusting the divine acting out through the body. And just being aware of what's happening, and that really everything's okay.
I like that. That's way more simple.
Yeah.
I think I just, put me another box, I have to be like this to be, to be present or anything,
But sometimes this is relevant, in the past, going back to your parents, rather than running away from the pain, has relevance, but now it just feels like more, you don't need to have your structure, you can just follow more the flow.
It will unfold by itself. I don't have to say, I have to do it, that's my number thing to do today. It's just... thank you. I feel like I was giving me some pressure to
I felt like that
be
too.
compassionate with them. Sometimes it's not that. It's like, what is this? So I have to respect that too. Thank you.
Oh, with pleasure. Nice. Oh, thank you so much for calling. It was lovely speaking with you.
It's very a pleasure.
Thanks. Oh, bye, sweetie.
Thank you.
That was nice. Thanks for that. It was very sweet. Thank you.